Genoveffa De Troia was born on 21st December 1887 in Lucera, a little village 18 kilometers west of Foggia, from Pasquale and Vincenza Terlizzi. She was the first of 5 children. After her, Vittorino, Giovina, Annita, and Attilio were born. Since her birth, she soon appeared so frail that she was baptized the following day in St. John's Church in Lucera, and after about 2 months she received the confirmation. At the age of 5, her sister Giovina, 5 months old, died, and when she was 17, also her brother Vittorino died. Poetry was one of the family among the De Troias. Her father was a precarious Hayward. That's why the family was forced to move from a house to another. At the age of 4, the first sore points appeared on her right leg. From that moment on, her mother took Genoveffa to the sanctuary of the Virgin Incoronata, 15 kilometers from Foggia. During one of these pilgrimages, while she was intent in her prayer, Genoveffa heard a voice saying, "You'll never recover." Then she threw herself on the hot cart and answered, "God's will be done." Her precarious health didn't allow Genoveffa to attend school regularly. That's why she would be illiterate all life. In 1901, at the age of 14, she was sent to the Charity Sisters in Lucera to learn the art of sewing and embroidery. She spent a lot of her time at the church, taking care of the altars. One day, looking at the tabernacle, she decided to become a sister, but again she heard a voice saying, "You will never be a sister." In 1905, Genoveffa felt the need to help her family, but because of her health, she couldn't work, and the bed became her home. And once again, she heard a voice saying, "You'll never get up from your bed." The disease that will strike her life forever was a form of lipoidosis, incurable at that time. It causes sore points and a progressive weakening of the bones. After years of poetry, in 1913, Genoveffa's father got a job in Foggia and moved all his family there, but they had to change their house, first in Corso Giannone, then in San Lorenzo Street, and finally in Urbano Street. In 1918, her brother Attilio died, and in 1924 her father died too. Genoveffa was then alone with her mother in deep poetry. In the meantime, her last sister, Anita, got married. In 1925, something very important happened in her life. She met Fra Angelico da Sarno, who became her spiritual father and led her to join the Terz'Ordine Francescano. In 1940, thanks to Fra Angelico, Genoveffa and her mother moved to their last house in Aprilia Street, number 3, only to leave that place for Troia in 1943 because of the air raids on Foggia. Genoveffa's mother died there, and she came back to Foggia 2 years later, in 1945, where she spent the last period of her difficult life in terrible pains until her death. Genoveffa died on 11th December 1949, and everybody in town mourned. The saint has died. A great multitude of people attend the funeral. Her corpse was shown for 3 days in St. John's Church. Before being buried in the St. Monica's Chapel in Foggia. After 72 hours, her body was still flexible and didn't smell bad. On 24th November 1958, the beatification process began and came to an end on 25 April 1967. On 25 April 1965, a corpse was moved to the Beata Maria Vergine Immacolata's Church in Foggia. On 7th March 1992, she was recognized venerable by Pope John Paul II, and in 1993, to give more importance to her person, the grave was taken forward in one of the aisles of the church. On 1st March 2012, a new reconnection of her body was done. On 14th October 2012, the Bishop Francesco Pio Tamburrino put Genoveffa's remains in a new tomb, and they were recollected in the aisle of the church with a solemn celebration. A particular mention must be given to Genoveffa's last residence. Since her wish of becoming a sister could not be fulfilled, she ordered the building of walls inside her house in order to delimit a little cell, as it is commonly named, where she could pray and suffer. Genoveffa, a poor woman, gave everything to the poor. She shared all the donations between the parish church, the tough box, and the house of child. Next to her bed gathered a crowd of believers from different class origins to pray and speak to Genoveffa. Her biggest wish was to make her cell a house of prayers after her death. Even today, in the newly restored cell, the spiritual family keeps alive Genoveffa's will to have her last residence a house of prayers. From 2017 on, Genoveffa De Troia's personal effects and memories are kept at the Memory Museum at the Frati Cappuccini Immacolata Convent of Foggia.